An Indian girl dead at 13 years old, just 8 months after a newspaper reported her land held an estimated $20 million in gas. Coincidence? Her great-niece Tatianna Duncan thinks not.
Lucinda. She was almost forgotten, to be quite honest. I remember when Mom was telling us, when we were talking a little bit about some of this, that nobody knew a lot about, she's like, and I remember Lucinda.
Lucinda is the great-granddaughter of Dugabachi, one of Tulsa's founding citizens. She was 8 months old when she was enrolled as a Muscogee Creek Nation citizen and received her land allotment 2 years later. In 1910, when Lucinda was 10 years old, her guardian, Dr. W.A. Cook, a stranger to her and her family, began leasing her land for coal and asphalt mining to Peter Adamson, Jr. Adamson created the Hickory Coal and Mining Company that same year. It's unclear how Lucinda died on January 9, 1913. Her father, Tom Hickory, testified Lucinda had a sickness during his and his wife Jenny's competency hearing. Many Indians, like Tom and Jenny, didn't speak English, only their native language, and depended on interpreters to get through the constant parade of court cases. Historians like Muscogee Creek citizen Jackie Jackson say the only city with more lawyers than Tulsa during the 1900s was New York City. Duncan tells us with so much oral history of poisoning and no record of Lucinda's death, she has a hard time believing her sickness was natural.
There was something weird about her death. I remember my mom saying that. Something wasn't right. That's it.
Lucinda's parents were forced to endure their competency hearing just 8 days after her death. Records show their interviews included attorneys hammering Lucinda's mother, Jenny, with math problems and accusing her father, Tom, of being a drunk. The records reveal at least 4 people wasted no time trying to purchase Lucinda's land, including her guardian. One deed was dated the same day she died. There was also testimony that a man named Dave Beaver had been lurking around days before Lucinda took her last breath, deed in hand. Jenny testified that she knew there was a coal mine, gas wells, and land rentals on Lucinda's land, but she and Lucinda never knew how much money they brought in. Tom said he had asked Cook how much money the land was bringing in through leases and rentals, but he refused to say. Probate records allege income from Lucinda's estate was estimated at $500 per year, just under $15,000 in today's money. But ledger statements not long after show agriculture rentals and royalties from coal, oil, and gas leases pulled in more than double that in a 1-month period. A half-Creek, half-white man named Sam Davis handled all of their accounting. 1 month after Lucinda's death, court records show her parents officially sold her land, rents, and royalties to Ethel Davis, wife of Sam Davis, for an appraised amount of $16,000. Not long after, Jenny was dead and Tom was homeless. Hickory Coal Mine No. 2 was nicknamed Lucinda. 2 decades after Lucinda's death, mining on her allotment was still going strong. An apartment complex sprawls across it today. In 1920, Tulsa attorney John Wakely sent a plea to Indian Affairs to help investigate the wrongdoing committed against Dugabachi and his kin, all of whom died during a short period of time and all of whom had their land swindled away.
When you see the proximity and how many of them, it's just something I think we should look at.
Duncan tells us as far as she knows, Wakely's request was never answered. Jenny and Tom's surviving children were sent off to Indian boarding schools.
You can never make it right by the people that were impacted the most.
But Duncan is still trying to make it right. She founded the Lucinda Hickory Research Institute in 2020. Duncan says it goes beyond helping people trace their own family history. They are helping future generations shape their identity and nurture their indigenous pride.
Growing up, this is a burden we have carried in silence. Nobody's surprised. When I go into a Muskogee community, they're not surprised to hear this. They will tell me their own story.